Testing.
Okay, I'll start by opening the meeting on October 17th at 6:36 p.m. Welcome to the Committee of Adjustments meeting. We'll start with the land acknowledgement.
Through you, Madam Chair, the town of Innisfil acknowledges that Innisfil is situated on treaty land that is steeped in rich Indigenous history. The town also acknowledges that this land is the traditional territories of the First Peoples of Turtle Island. It is shared between the Anishinaabe peoples of Beausoleil First Nation, Chippewas of Rama First Nation, and Chippewas of Georgina Island First Nation, and we thank them for generations of stewardship. This meeting is still home to many Indigenous people, and we are grateful to have the opportunity to work on this land. The town acknowledges the forced sacrifices that are the foundation of Canadian society today. We are dedicated to honoring Indigenous history and culture and committed to moving forward in the spirit of reconciliation and respect with all First Nation, Métis, and Inuit.
Thank you. So today we are meeting at Town Hall and then offering members of the public or applicants who are unable to attend in person to utilize Microsoft Teams to attend. Members of the committee in attendance tonight is myself, Sarah Oettinger, chair for tonight, Marnie Adams, John Ramonde, Bill Van Berkel, and Rod Hicks, who is also chair. We ask that everyone attending tonight's meeting please put your electronic devices on silent. The committee will follow the agenda as noted. To view the agenda, please visit the town's website and access the Committee of Adjustment page. Here you will be able to see current and previous applications. All applicants and members of the public who wish to address the committee via phone or Zoom will be placed on mute until called upon. You will be able to hear all conversations taking place. For applicants and members of the public attending in person or virtual and wish to speak to a specific application, will be called to the podium by the chair in order of the agenda and proceedings. All comments will be addressed to the chairperson. We would ask that members of the public who wish to speak to a specific application restrict their comments to the specific details of the application being heard and have not been previously expressed by another member of the public. Once the public discussion is complete, the committee will close that portion and open discussions with the applicant. Once complete, the committee will render a decision. Can I have a motion to approve the agenda? Okay. Rod, and a seconder? Bill? All in favor? Okay. Can I have a motion to approve the past minutes of meetings? Marnie, seconder? Rod, all in favor? Okay. Does any member need to disclose a pecuniary interest with the applications before us? I see none. Okay, Mr. Secretary, can you please advise how notice was provided for the applications before us?
Through you, Madam Chair, in compliance with Ontario regulations, the notice of hearing was circulated to property owners within a 60-meter radius of the subject properties, and signs were posted on the subject properties on or before October 3rd, 2024. In addition, all application information, including the notice, key map, and application drawings, were made available on the town website.
Thank you, and we will start now with the applications noted on the agenda. The first application, A033-2024, address is 1155 Big Bay Point Road. May you please ask the applicant to approach the podium, or if they're calling in, to please be unmuted. Do we have Matt Reed here?
Hello, I am here.
Hi, Matt. Welcome to the Committee of Adjustments.
Thanks for having us tonight.
Mr. Secretary, can you please read out the details of the application and any comments associated with it?
Through you, Madam Chair, the applicant is proposing to construct an addition with a deficient interior side yard setback of 1.87 meters. The applicant is seeking relief from Table 4.2A of the zoning bylaw, which requires a minimum side yard setback of 3 meters. Planning recommends approval with conditions. Building have comments. The Lake Simcoe Region Conservation Authority have comments and conditions. Engineering and end services have no comments.
Thank you. Matt, do you have any further comments or anything you wish to add to the application? And are you aware of all of the conditions listed in the memo?
Yes, I did review all the conditions listed. We have no issue meeting all those conditions. I think the only thing that I would add to it is just that, the carport that's coming off compared to the new structure that we're building puts us further away from that side yard setback. So I think overall, we're just trying to improve, a non-compliant situation and still give the homeowners the space that they need, right? So I'm happy to answer any questions you guys have, of course, and yeah.
Okay, thank you. Are there any questions from any of the committee members? Marnie, go ahead.
Hi, through the chair, but really directed more at Tamaj, I guess. It said in the application that the stairs are not included in the setbacks. Is that a normal?
Through you, Madam Chair. Yeah, we don't consider the stairs as part of the setback, just the actual structure. And if there's a deck, then we would consider that as well.
Okay, thank you.
Are there any further questions from any of the committee members? Okay, I see none. Mr. Moderator, are there any members of the public wishing to address the application being heard? Nope, thank you. Okay, I'll move on then to a motion. Do I have a motion from any of the committee members? Rod, go
Through
ahead.
you, Chair, my recommendation that we approve with all conditions as outlined.
Do we have a seconder? Go ahead, John. And all in favor? Okay, all in favor, Matt, your application is being approved with the listed conditions.
Thank you very much.
No worries. Okay, we'll move on to application number 2 on the agenda, application A036-2024 for 670 Park Road. May I ask the applicant to please approach the podium, or if you're calling in, to please be unmuted. Do we have Jennifer Galoro here with us?
Yes.
Hi, Jennifer. Welcome to the Committee of Adjustments.
Hi.
Mr. Secretary, please read out the details of the application and any details associated with it, please.
Through you, Madam Chair, the applicant is proposing to construct a second driveway. The applicant is seeking relief from section 3.18.1G of the zoning bylaw, which permits a maximum of 1 driveway per residentially zoned lot. Planning recommends approval with conditions. Building have comments. In-services have comments and conditions. Engineering have no comments.
Thank you. Jennifer, is there anything that you wish to add with regards to your application? And are you aware of all of the listed conditions in the staff report?
Yes, so I'm aware of all the conditions for building. We're okay with that, and we'll resubmit a new grading plan for that. From in-services, I think there may have been a little bit of a misunderstanding. When we applied for the building permit, we had approval for having the driveway on the south side, which is the one that's closest to the fire hydrant, and with conditions to put in some bollards around there. What we're requesting is to add, which was originally the existing driveway on the east side. So that's where the application that we're looking for approval on.
Okay. Thank you for clarifying that. Okay, do I have any questions or comments? Yep, go ahead, Rod.
Through you, Chair, and it's maybe to Tamaj. This was a site plan that was done, and they were approved for the 2 driveways. Is that correct?
Not that, through you, Madam Chair, not that I'm aware of. We're just dealing with the driveway application, but Stephen's on the line. Stephen, do you know if there was any kind of site plan? I don't think so, because it's a residential.
Well, I'm concerned because the owner is telling us that it was pre-approved.
Yeah.
They had to put bollards around. Now we see a recommendation that it has to be further away from the
Yeah, so
fire
I
hydrant.
believe
Why
that was
wasn't that
just,
caught at the beginning?
yeah, and I think that's just confusion on the in-services part. They were looking at the wrong driveway. So the existing driveway is the one closest to the hydrant, which is already in place.
That's existing.
So we're approving the second driveway, which is quite a bit away from the hydrant.
Thank you.
Do we have any further questions? Yep, Marnie? Oh,
Through the chair. So we don't, this is directed at Tamaj. Oh, sorry. So we don't have to concern ourselves with InPower's comments about the fire hydrant?
Through you, Madam Chair, no, we don't, and I'll speak to in-services to make sure everyone's on the same page. But we'll make sure we get the okay from in-services regardless. But my understanding is they were looking at the wrong driveway location.
Okay.
okay. Bill, did you have a question? Go ahead.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I just wondered, because the curb cut was done on the one closest to the fire hydrant, was that done by mistake or intentionally, or?
That is the original driveway.
Through you, Madam Chair, I believe that's the original driveway, but maybe Jennifer, you can clarify if when that was done, the original driveway?
The original driveway was done after at time of construction. The curb cut, the one that's closest to the fire hydrant, we were provided the information on the site plan and had that done in accordance to building. Now we haven't, because it's not fully complete just yet. We didn't do any paving or anything like that, and don't have the bullards in place. When they come to do the final grading and driveway for that area, then they will complete all of the bullards. But the curb cuts were done a while back.
Thank you.
There's also a curb cut that was originally there that's on the east side, which is the one that we're proposing to keep.
Okay, do we have any further questions or comments from any of the committee members? Okay, I see none. Mr. Moderator, are there any members of the public wishing to address the application being heard? None already, so I'll go ahead. Do I have a motion from any of the members on this application? Marnie?
Through the chair, I'd like to make a motion to approve the application. Sorry, through the chair, I'd like to make a motion to approve application 036-2024, which is 670 Park Road, as applied for, subject to conditions.
Okay, and do we have a seconder? Bill? All in favor? Okay, your application has been approved with the listed conditions.
Thank you, everyone. Have a good evening.
You too. Okay, we'll move on to the next application on the agenda, application A039-2024 for the address 2258 Richardson Street. May I please ask the applicant to approach the podium, or if they're calling in, to please be unmuted. Do we have Kevin Arnold here with us today?
Through you, Madam Chair, I see Kevin on the call virtually. Kevin, can you please unmute yourself? Kevin, if you can hear us, please unmute yourself.
Okay, that's all right. We'll just proceed with, if Mr. Secretary, if you could please read out the details of the application and any comments associated with it.
Through you, Madam Chair. The applicant is proposing to construct a second driveway. The applicant is seeking relief from section 3.18.1G of the zoning bylaw, which permits a maximum of one driveway per residential lot. Planning recommends approval with conditions. Building have comments, engineering have comments, in-services have no comments, and one public comment was received.
Thank you. So it looks like Kevin's having some technical difficulties. Kevin, is there anything, you could just write in the chat if there's anything that you want to add to the application? And if not, we'll just ask the committee members if there's any questions. We keep on going. Oh, he says he's good with the comments, so we'll proceed. Go ahead, Bill, yeah.
And just a comment or my comment on the comments there, that we don't deal with roads. That really has nothing to do with us. We're only strictly dealing with the extra driveway. If there's a problem with the road, you have to go to a different department altogether. We can't help you with that.
And through you, Madam Chair, just to add to Bill's comments, operations does get circulated on every application, so if they had any concern, they would have let us know.
Okay, thank you. Are there any further questions or comments from any of the committee members? I see none. Okay, Mr. Moderator, are there any members of the public wishing to address the application being heard? There's none. Okay, we'll go ahead with the motion. Do I have a motion for this application, Bill?
Thank you, Madam Chair. I make a motion that applications 8039-2024, 2258 Richardson Street, that we approve it as long as all the conditions are met.
Do we have a seconder? Rod, all in favor? Okay, your application has been approved with all listed conditions. Okay, we'll move on now to the next application, A040-2024 for 2571 Innisfil Beach Road. May I please ask the applicant to approach the podium or unmute yourself? Do we have Wilfreda Ices here today? Hi there. Welcome to the Committee of Adjustments.
Thank you.
Mr. Secretary, can you please read out the details of the application and any comments associated with it?
Through you, Madam Chair, the applicant is proposing to construct an addition to an existing accessory structure. The applicant is seeking relief from Section 3.27A of the zoning bylaw for the expansion of a legally existing non-conforming use. Planning recommends approval with conditions. Building have comments. The Lake Simcoe Region Conservation Authority have comments and conditions. In-services and engineering have no comments.
Thank you. Is there anything that you wish to add with regards to your application?
I did go over the comments with the homeowner, and he was wondering about the condition of the tree preservation plan. Currently, the location where the addition is planned is a parking lot. There's some storage there. The trees are located on the property line between the homeowner and the east property. So there are no trees. It's also a slab-on-grade construction, so there's very little excavation.
Thank you. And are you aware of all of the conditions listed in the report?
I am.
Okay, thanks. Okay, do we have any questions or comments from any of the committee members? See none? All righty. Mr. Moderator, are there any members of the public? Yeah. Okay, go ahead. Yep.
So are you asking if it would be possible to remove that condition because you don't think that any trees are coming down? Is that what I'm saying?
Correct. I'm asking if that condition can be removed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Tamaj, are you able to respond with regards to the tree preservation plan?
Through you, Madam Chair, I believe, Kirsten, was this your file? If so, can you comment on the tree compensation condition?
Yes, good evening, everyone. So that, and through the chair, that condition is an official plan requirement for any new development that's proposed, which does include a minor variance application. So any minor variance application that is proposed where there are trees, that's a standard condition we include just to ensure that the existing trees are protected, and that would include any trees that are on the boundary of the lot. So we're recommending that that condition is included. However, we can certainly discuss further with the applicant when they get to that stage of the building permit to see if it's still required.
Okay, thank you, Kirsten. Do you have any further questions?
I'm wondering if there's a way that we could word the condition so that it's to the satisfaction of the town, that the trees that are existing on the property line will be preserved, but not necessarily have to go through a robust tree preservation study, because they are expensive.
Yeah, you can make that condition.
Yeah, through the chair, that would be up to the committee if that's something that you wanted to do.
Okay. Any further questions or comments from any of the members? No. Yep, go ahead.
Bill has.
Yep, go ahead, Bill.
Thank you, Mrs. Chair, Mrs. Chair. We could probably change it around a little bit, but there has to be some sort of tree preservation clause in this recommendation, because if we take it all together, then we have absolutely nothing to say, neither does anybody else. So if you want to word it, John, in such a way that that it's still protected, I have no problem with it, but I can't remove the whole thing.
A question for Kirsten. If we approve it the way it is with the condition that exists, are you still able to work with them and remove it on your end after the fact? Or if we say that the condition's part of it, then, or maybe it's a question for you, Tomasz. Like if we say that the condition is part of the application, they have to do it no matter what, or can you still waive it?
Through the chair, yes, we can consider it like after the fact. If we leave the condition there, we can review further and remove it if we see that it's not required once we get more detailed drawings.
And you see, that's the problem. We haven't seen a detailed drawing. If there was a detailed drawing here, we'd see that, they could build without harming any trees, I would say, yeah, but it's not here.
Yep, because I agree with the applicant. I don't think any trees are going to come down with this. I think that slab on grade is not going to touch anything. I completely agree with that. But I think that we should leave it to the professionals at the planning department to make that call and then just leave it the way it is. But I think that you can trust that they'll use their best judgment to waive that at the time that, if you have more detailed drawings and stake it out on the property and take some pictures, they'll work with you on that.
Thank you so much.
You ready?
Sorry, I'm not the chair tonight.
One more question before we move to motion. Mr. Moderator, are there any public comments? No? Okay, we'll move on to a motion. Go ahead, John.
I will make a motion to approve application A040-2024 with all the conditions as they are written. However, that the applicant and the planning department are going to work together to potentially remove the tree preservation condition if the planning department is satisfied that no trees will be removed during the process of construction.
Okay, seconder from Bill. All in favor? Okay, your application has been approved with the condition as outlined. Okay, we'll move on to the next application, B009-2024. Address is 823 Cedar Vale Drive. May I ask the applicant to please approach the podium?
Good evening, Madam Chair.
Hi there. Are you Addison Melanie Price? Sorry if I with my pronunciation of last names.
Yeah, that's okay. My name is Addison Milton Price. I'm indeed the applicant here on behalf of the owner.
Okay, welcome to the Committee of Adjustments. Mr. Secretary, can you please read out the details of the application, any comments associated with it?
Through you, Madam Chair, the applicant is proposing to sever a portion of the subject lands for the purpose of creating 3 new residential lots. Planning recommends approval with conditions. Building have comments, engineering have comments, in-services have comments and conditions, in-power also have comments.
Thank you. Addison, is there anything that you wish to add with regards to your application, and are you aware of all of the conditions in the report?
So I am aware of all of the conditions and comments, Madam Chair. I am prepared to give a brief outline of the application and do a presentation on why I feel it should be approved. However, I note, particularly due to the fact that staff is in support and due to the fact that there are no minor variances associated with either the buildings proposed or the lots proposed, it is a very straightforward proposal. So if instead the committee members would prefer to just direct questions towards me, I'm happy with that as well.
Committee members, would you like to see the presentation? I'll leave it up to them.
I don't think we need it.
Thank you, Madam Chair. No, I don't, the conditions are pretty standard for severance, so I don't think we need to go through a whole deputation. It's pretty straightforward.
And I'll concur with Bill, Madam Chair, that I don't think we need a presentation on severance for 3 lots.
All right.
As much as we appreciate all the work, though.
Alrighty, we will ask now, committee members, any questions for the applicant? Comments? Nothing? Mr. Moderator, are there anyone here from the public? Okay.
Through you, Madam Chair, we do have one member of the public who wishes to speak. Lisa Menzies is the member of the public.
Yes.
I'm Lisa Menzies. This is Frank Buckley. We live across the road from the said property. So we do have some questions.
General
Okay, yeah, no
questions?
problem. Yep, thank you for attending the meeting tonight. We just have a quick
Quick
question.
question. Would you like to hear the presentation?
Well, we
from
haven't
the?
seen anything other than
Yeah,
what was
and
submitted.
there are
yeah.
neighbors too.
Then absolutely, let's
Okay,
listen to it.
yeah, let's
Sure.
listen to the
So we didn't
presentation.
need to,
Perfect, thank you.
yeah. And then you're, feel free to come and ask your question after that, but I think that might be useful if there's public here.
Perfect, yep.
Hello again. So I'll just go right into it. So in summary, this application proposes to sever a lot to create 3 new lots and retain the existing one for 4 lots in total. A single detached dwelling will be constructed on each lot. The 3 severed lots are all proposed nearly identical in size, all with a frontage of 15.1 meters. The retained lot, which will be a corner lot, will be proposed as a double lot with approximately 30 meters in frontage. The reason we propose the lots in this way is to accommodate the exterior side yard setback required on the corner lot. Now, in the letter that I provided to committee, I prepared a chart that identified the proposed lot frontages and lot areas. The severed lots are all slightly different in area due to the irregular shape of the lot. It's not an exact rectangle. However, despite this, you will note that reviewing the chart, all the proposed lots are compliant with the zoning bylaw, both in lot frontage and lot area. The subject land is also outside of any regulated area of the Lake Simcoe Region Conservation Authority. And while the property does feature a large amount of vegetation and trees, the intent of the official plan designation for this property is to provide residential dwellings. In that respect, this application proposes to create 3 new lots with 4 dwellings, so one on the retained lot as well. And I'll also note that this property is adjacent to the Big Cedar Golf Course, which is designated as parks and open space in the official plan and not as any sort of environmental protection designation. The subject property is also within the primary settlement area known as Alcona, which has been designated by the region and by the town as the primary area for growth and intensification. It's located in very close proximity to the Lake Simcoe Public School and is capable of being fully serviced by the municipal services available. As I stated, the proposed dwellings will also be fully compliant with the zoning bylaw, and the proposed lots have been designed in a manner to ensure that the minimum lot area and lot frontage requirements have also been met. The proposed dwellings have also been constructed on each lot to be compliant with the zoning bylaw and consistent with the existing dwellings that are found within the area. I'll also briefly note that there are several official plan policies that pertain specifically to severances. One of them, section 10.2.11, states that in the case of existing oversized lots, the lot may be subdivided such that any new lots meet the minimum lot area requirements of the zoning bylaw, and any required variance is no greater than 20% of the required minimum. And I'll again point out that we meet this official plan policy. There is also a minimum and maximum density based on the residential designation of this property. The minimum density is 10 units per hectare, and this proposal will bring the overall neighborhood quite a bit closer to reaching that goal. The density proposed is just under 10, and therefore will increase it quite a bit from the 0 density that's currently on the property right now. Overall, I'll just sum up that this application provides much needed new dwelling units in a manner that meets all requirements under section 5124 of the Planning Act. It represents new housing units that respect the existing zoning bylaw and official plan designation, and provides a gentle way to assist the town in meeting its intensification targets that have been met by the province. With that, my presentation is complete.
Thank you, Addison. Okay, if members of the public wish to speak, you can approach the podium. Hi there, please state your name and address.
Lisa Menzies, 828 Cedar Vale Drive, Innisfil.
Frank Buckley, 828 Cedar Vale Drive.
Thank you.
So we have a few just general questions to ask about the development process, in particular the timing of all this to occur, the completion schedule, if there is one that will be forthcoming, hopefully. And so just a couple other comments with regards
Sorry,
to...
Madam Chair, I'm just going to step in. The Committee of Adjustment only deals with details specific to the application. So all we're dealing with tonight is the severances of the 3 lots. Okay. Not about building, not about the plans, only about the vacant property being divided into 3 sections. Okay. That's all we're dealing with tonight.
And where would we voice those questions to then?
You would come back to the town. You can customer service. Tamaj, do you want to step in?
Yeah, through you, Madam Chair. So the process, the way it works is we're looking at the severance right now. The actual construction, they would need building permits for it. So we're just dealing with the severance. So the applicant and owner have 2 years to meet the list of conditions that we provided. So if they do meet all the conditions within a 2-year frame, it gets approved. We provide them with a certificate of official. They go to the land registry and they register all 4 lots. So really the timing really depends on the applicant and owner. Based on my experience, it's usually around a year to get everything done. But yeah, all our conditions will be in a notice of decision, so I will forward that decision your way. But basically, yeah, you have 2 years to meet all the conditions for all severances.
Okay, so then in regards to the severance, I'll stick to that. They mentioned, the 50-foot frontage, and they were saying, within 250 meters. This seems to fit with the neighborhood. While on Cedar Vale, which is within 250 meters, Nantyre, which is within 250 meters, 50-foot frontages is definitely not the norm in our neighborhood. So on those streets for sure, Moyer has maybe 2 homes that have that frontage, but we're all within 250 meters of that lot, and we do not have that.
Through you, Madam Chair, there are lots with that, I'm going to use meters, with that 15-meter frontage south of the subject property. So we did look for similar sized frontages, and we did find 2 lots that have similar frontages.
2 in the
Yeah.
whole neighborhood?
Yep.
2, okay, that's not the general character of the neighborhood then. 2.
Through you, Madam Chair, that meets the policies of the official plan.
Okay. They said this has got nothing to do with tree preservation, right? For the severance, right?
Just strictly pertaining to the severance for the application on file. Yeah.
But there are some conditions in severance that deal with boundary lengths, trees. Yeah, I was saying that there are some conditions in the severance that deal with trees and deal with boundary trees and keeping, some protection. So if you haven't read through those, I don't know, I mean. Yeah, there's a staff report online. So they do make sure that, as much buffer is provided, because that's why that corner lot.
Yep, it is listed as a condition within the staff report for a tree preservation planting plan to be submitted.
That's right. It's condition number 2. It says, it's like the verbiage is something like that existing mature trees and boundary trees be protected and maintained to the satisfaction of the town. So it's one of the conditions of the severance.
Oh, sir. Sir, if you would like to speak, please approach the podium and state your name and address.
Sure. Name is Daryl DeForest, and I live at 840 Nantyre Drive at the corner across from the property being proposed for severance. I guess my question is with regards to the conditions that have been set by the different departments. Are those available for viewing by the public online?
Yes,
If
yep,
they
it's
are,
available
maybe it answers a few
on the
questions
website.
that probably most have that live in the area. I would also assume that those conditions take care of any kind of, because there's basically a lot of development going to be done in that area, and in terms of water flow and drainage, is covered in those conditions, probably by the roads or something of that nature.
Yeah, through you, Madam Chair. The drainage part will most likely be done through the building permit, so they review the grading plan to make sure drainage is, that they review the
Which would be
drainage.
a condition in there that they have to meet anything that's
So that's-
prescribed by the
that's-
town?
Yeah, that's standard, so
Yeah.
that comes at the building permit stage. And what I'll do is, I will forward you a notice of decision.
Okay.
It's going to have all the conditions, listed conditions from every department, so you will have, it will be available on our website by Tuesday of next week.
Okay. And by policy, what is the distance that people are notified that, is it
60 meters.
60 meters? Okay, just wondering why I didn't get anything, and I'm probably about 45 meters, 30 meters?
We did post so we did send
I
out
saw
all
the
the
posting.
envelopes. Sorry?
I saw the posting
Yeah,
at
there's,
the
so
road.
that's why we do post out the envelopes within 60-meter radius. We have a list. But I guess we'd also have different types of notification. We also have the signs to make sure, in case you didn't get the letters, which is out of our control. We do send them out. After that, it's out of our control, but we did send out within a 60-meter radius. We sent out all those letters.
Okay, yeah, we didn't get them. That's okay.
So-
I'll look online if all the information there's online. It sounds to me, it's just the severance right now, and at some point, they'll be back for the building permit, and those conditions will be met, kind of thing.
That's correct. And the severance won't be approved anytime soon. These conditions do take a while to approve,
Yep.
so they will have to go, they will have that 2 years to meet all the conditions.
Right.
And I can give you my contact information if you want, and if you have any other questions, just feel free to email me.
Perfect, perfect. Thank you. Thank you.
Yep, Rod?
If I may, Madam Chair, just to answer the homeowner, everything that we do here is public information. You can find Committee of Adjustments on the town site and you see exactly what we see. So it's all there. For now. because the town's changing the permit system.
Okay. Addison, is there anything that you wish to add to address the members of the public's comments?
Yeah, absolutely. I could quickly comment on the frontages. Just one thing I'll quickly note, the policy that requires an analysis of the frontages within 250 meters states that the lots are reviewed on the same street. This is a corner lot, so I think it's best viewed with analysis of both streets, because of course all of the proposed lots, although now they're addressed as Cedar Vale lots, they will be fronting upon Moyer Ave. And there are two very similar lots, a 14 meter and 16 meter, roughly along Moyer. Also, roughly within that neighborhood, there are quite a few of 14, 16, 15 meter lots, and these properties fit into the neighborhood and are quite capable of functioning properly. With regard to the timing of construction and conditions, I'll absolutely agree with the comment of the committee member. That isn't something that is really up for discussion at this meeting, but I will state that we'll be very motivated to construct in a manner that's efficient and quick and is respectful to all of the neighbors. Lastly, just with respect to the trees on the property, one of the conditions is to prepare a tree compensation and protection plan, and I imagine this will be one of the largest pieces that we'll need to complete as part of these conditions. And so that will take a good amount of time, but we will ensure that it all is done in accordance with the town's policies.
Thank you. Are there any further questions from the committee members? Okay, we'll proceed for a motion then. Do I have a motion for this application? Bill? Okay.
I'll take it.
Rod?
My recommendation is that we approve with conditions as outlined by the town staff.
Do I have a seconder? Bill, all in favor? Okay, your application has been approved with all the listed conditions. Okay, we'll proceed to the next application on the agenda, application A041-2024 for 14 Clover Hill Crescent. May I ask the applicant to please approach the podium, or if you're calling in, to please be unmuted. Hi there, please state your names.
Derek and Lori Parker.
14
Okay.
Clover Hill.
And you're the owners of
Yes.
this? Okay. Thank you. Welcome to Committee of Adjustments. Mr. Secretary, can you please read out the details of the application, any comments associated with it?
Through you, Madam Chair, the applicant is proposing to construct an accessory dwelling unit with an approximate footprint of 84.7 square meters. The applicant is seeking relief from Section 3.5J of the zoning bylaw, which permits a maximum ADU footprint of 50 square meters if located in the rear yard. Planning recommends deferral. Building have comments. In-services and engineering have no comments, and 3 public comments were received.
Thank you. Are you aware of the recommendation outlined in the staff report with regards to the deferral and the conditions listed?
Yes, we were. And we
Okay.
did send in what you requested, the height.
We sent everything.
Yeah.
Okay. I guess it hasn't come back to us quite yet.
Through you, Madam Chair, yeah, we got that. It wasn't posted on the website because we got it after the fact, but we did get the height of the proposed structure, and it is under 5 meters. The only thing is, I'm not sure if it's higher or lower than the actual house, so maybe the applicants can answer that question.
Yes, I can. It is a little bit higher, and our contractor is willing to make it smaller, shorter.
Yeah.
By, what, 2 feet? 1 to 2 feet, depending on what you guys approve.
Yep.
Yeah, we can make it small, shorter than our dwelling.
Also, too, I think the conditions were privacy with trees and that, so we were willing to plant trees and put up a privacy fence if need be.
Am I jumping ahead? Did you read out the application? Okay, yeah.
I was reading.
It's late.
Yeah.
Okay. You have a question? Go ahead. Yeah.
We have, usually at the committee level, we will get elevation drawings that show us what you're building. We have none.
We sent them in.
We sent them in earlier in the week. Sorry.
Was it after the date? Because you have to have it in 3 weeks before we meet, I believe.
Well, I thought we sent it in prior, and then I asked my architect, and he sent it to me, and I sent it on the weekend.
Tomaj, do we have elevations?
I can bring them up.
I mean, the question is, did we get them in time that,
We got them after the fact. That's why they weren't posted on we got them, I got them a couple days ago.
okay, that's not satisfactory. That's okay, thank you.
Any further questions from the members?
I do.
Yep. Go ahead.
Through you, Chair, and I'm not sure it's through Tomaj or Stephen. Cookstown's a big issue for us. We've dealt with this for many years. And there's always an issue with allocation of sewage. Is this not an issue? I know that we had one last month that we were dealing with allocation issues. And adding an ADU, there is more outflow now. So I'm not sure if that's if that's part of the restriction.
Through you, Madam Chair, that is correct. There is a limited number of allocations available at Cookstown. Because of that, it's up to council to approve each individual allocation unit, and I believe the owners did go through council to get that approval. Steve, is there anything you want to add to that?
Through you, Madam Chair, that's correct. There is a clause in the zoning bylaw that states that that council or the town needs to approve a unit of allocation prior to an ADU being permitted in Cookstown. That did occur, so that's not really what the variance is this evening. The variance is for this size of the ADU. But that's the response. That's the answer.
Go ahead, Bill.
I just wanted, so really what we're here for, the ADU has basically been approved by council. That's what you're saying. So we're here to approve size and height.
Through you, Madam Chair, that is correct.
And I haven't seen the elevations, or haven't seen any.
Is it a problem if we come back next month? Like, is there a reason why it needs to be?
Unfortunately, we're away.
You're away, but you guys don't need to be here. Like, your contractor can come on your behalf. It's or you can do it online. We would really prefer to see the whole package because we need to know what the height of the existing house is versus the new dwelling. We need to know exactly what the new dwelling, we could put an arbitrary maximum height on it, which might not be beneficial for you. It may be the wrong thing to do. We do have the ability to approve a higher building if it makes sense. So I think the best thing to do is defer it. It's no cost to you or anything like that. And we'll work with you if you're not here. Like, it's.
Yeah, through you, Madam Chair, you'll have the option. The owners don't necessarily have to be there as long as someone representing you is there. You can either call in or Zoom in. So even a phone call would work if someone could call on your behalf.
That's totally up to Doug.
If you're somewhere tropical, we can come and meet you.
We are actually.
We're actually in flight that day.
Yeah.
It's my 50th birthday.
Yep, Marnie has a question. Go ahead.
Hi, through the chair. I'm just kind of curious. Reading the application, this ADU or granny suite is for one of your parents, is that?
Yeah, she's right there.
It's just for one person?
That's correct.
So you're asking for almost double the size that, I mean, you could just go ahead now because you've already got approval to build a 500 and something square foot little house at the back. You're asking for not quite double, but almost double that size for one person. And I'm just wondering, 1,000 square feet is a lot of space.
And if I could just jump in, sorry, through you, Madam Chair, I've also included the front porch in the footprint calculation, so just just a clarification there.
Yeah, it's 798 square feet to be exact, and it's for wheelchair
It's for,
accessibility.
yeah.
798. That's including a porch. Yeah. No.
Another comment to you guys. You'll know what the town and what the planning department is, you know, whether it's going to be recommended for approval before you leave. You'll be able to go and kind of, with some peace of mind that way. Like, they're good at guiding you and saying, okay, this is how high it needs to be for us to approve it. And by the time it comes to us, it's either recommended for approval, deferral, or, you know, rejection. Hardly ever comes to us as rejection because they're so good at working through it with you guys. So I think that you could feel rest assured that if you have to go, go, but you'll know one way or the other whether it's going to be approved or not. Or not guaranteed, but at least recommended.
And to add to that, Madam, through you, Madam Chair, you don't necessarily have to be present for the hearing. We recommend that someone representing you is present, but if there's no one present, we will continue with the application as is.
Okay, thank you.
Even without an agent at all.
Okay, thank you.
If I can.
Yep, go ahead, Rob.
Just to echo, the town, we've dealt with this many times when there's a deferral. It just gets you back with the planning staff, and you come up with something that's acceptable for them. And as my colleague said, it'll either come as, you know, approve, defer, or deny. And but when you're at this stage, going back, working out a plan that's suitable with the town staff, and then it comes before us, and we can make a decision, but we'd rather see all the information to make the decision. So I think it's, as John said, it's very beneficial. Work with the town. They'll say, this is what will be acceptable to us. And if you're not happy with it, when you come before us, you can plead your case again. But usually people, it's they go back with the town and say, what do you want us to do? What do you want from us? And there's usually a amicable solution. Okay? And plus your builder can come, now that we know who he is.
Okay, thank you.
Any further questions or comments? That's it. Okay, Mr. Moderator, are there any members of the public wishing to address this application tonight?
Through you, Madam Chair, there is. There's one member of the public who registered to speak, Colson Spung.
Hi there, Madam Chair.
Hi there, welcome to the Committee of Adjustments.
Good evening. My name is Colson Spong, and I'm the owner of 12 Clover Hill Crescent, which is the property directly to the west of the proposed new house. My wife, who's present there with you today, and I are fairly new residents of Cookstown, but we were drawn to our current home solely by the area's unique low-density construction. The backyard of our home was the main selling point that resulted in us purchasing the property. We look forward to watching our children grow and play in the expansive private yard. I'd like to preface my points of contention by saying that it is not my intent to create animosity between myself and the Parkers or the town. My wife and I have had a good relationship with the Parkers, and I wish to maintain that. I do, however, feel that I have a duty to speak up for my family and my neighbors who I know share the same concerns as myself. What I see ahead is a degradation of the quality of life for my family and my neighbors, and negative impacts in the value of our properties. All that being said, we are vehemently opposed to the construction of the new home behind 14 Clover Hill Crescent, and even more passionately antipathetic to the proposed astronomical increase in building footprint. I understand the focus of this meeting is to speak on the footprint of the home. However, I must address the fact that we as residents suffered from the same lack of clarity by the town that the Parkers used as their apparent leverage to obtain permission to build the ADU. When the Parkers told us of their plan to build an additional home in their backyard, we spent around 15 minutes in the bylaw and confirmed our suspicions that ADUs were not allowed in Cookstown. Out of an abundance of caution, I even reached out to a town employee who told me there is no chance an ADU would be permitted in Cookstown due to sewage capacity. Our concerns were eased, or so we thought. To the surprise of myself and my neighbors, we found out from the local newspaper that the additional home had been approved. To quote, Mayor Lynn Dolan in the very same article. Start a quote. It certainly to me could be more prevalent or some kind of a red flag right up at the very beginning of the process, so we don't end up with people investing in a property and then finding out after the fact as opposed to before the fact, end quote. I find myself in the same position as the Parkers, but without the grace that the town had extended to them. I invested in a property in an area where ADUs were banned, clearly banned, and yet I find out after the process is completed that my neighbor has had an ADU approved. I see no equity in this process. If the new home is constructed in the proposed location that the Parkers have told me, I lose privacy in my entryway, kitchen, dining room, main bathroom, master bedroom, master bathroom, downstairs office, laundry room, and basement. To put that in perspective, that is 9 out of the 13 rooms in my entire house. I can't stand at the stove, do dishes, use my microwave, sit at my dinner table, or do laundry without seeing the proposed area of development. Every single window on the back of my home is in full visibility of the proposed home. I can even see the proposed area of development from my shower. What privacy does my family have left? The lot height of 14 Clover Hill Crescent is higher than my own, only compounding the issue further. I do not believe that this respects the local character of the settlement area I reside. This does not maintain the low density character of the neighborhood that is defined by privacy from one's neighbor. As for the size of the new home, the town refers to the variance as minor and in emails describes it as a slight increase in permitted footprint. And I know that Derek has just spoken about that tonight, so there's a bit of a change in some of my math here, but the footprint is proposed to increase by approximately 70%. That feels anything but minor to us. If the government proposed a minor change in tax code with a slight increase in taxes, there would be state of shock when taxes went up 70%. This feels like very disingenuous use of language. It would be important to note that the proposed square footage of the new home, again, this has changed slightly based on the conversation we've already had, is around 900 square feet. I do not feel it is appropriate to refer to this new build as anything other than a house, as it is likely around 90% as large as the primary residence on the property. I do not find it satisfactory to state that the extra square footage is for accessibility concerns. I was previously a project manager in construction and regularly built standard apartments alongside accessible apartments. The most significant changes were in the doorway openings, accessible bathroom equipment, and electrical layout, all of which required no change in square footage. In fact, all of our units were 12 by 40 specialty prefabricated containers, coming in at less than 500 square feet. I also have major concerns about the runoff that will be diverted from an approximate 1,000 square foot roof. As stated earlier, my property lies lower than 14 Clover Hill Crescent, and the swale between our homes is already at capacity, regularly becoming saturated. Direct neighbors to myself already suffer from flooding on their lot depending on the time of year. I'm seriously concerned that the increase in square footage will lead to excess runoff that will make part of my yard unusable at times and oversaturated otherwise. While I hesitate to speculate about the future, I do have concerns with the precedents this sets for our low-density neighborhood. I would like to end this by stating that we would have substantially fewer concerns if the ADU was built as an addition to the primary home. It would alleviate almost all of our privacy concerns. It would be easier to direct runoff out the front yard of the home. Not to mention the fact that it feels significantly more appropriate to not have an accessible unit over 150 feet from the nearest parking spot. I appreciate the town for allowing me to put my thoughts forward, and I thank you for your time.
Madam Chair, if I may, just to address the citizen that brought his comments, and thank you very much for doing that. The decision to allow the ADU was done by council, so I'd recommend that you meet with your local council member or contact the mayor and ask them how they decided on it, because it has nothing to do with Committee of Adjustments. And your concerns are noted. The concern about the water and the drainage, a property cannot adversely affect the neighbors, so that's something the town and the building department will be looking at future construction to make sure there's no adverse effects on your property. But thank you for making yourself and your comments known to the committee.
Thank you very much.
Okay, do we have any further questions or comments? All right, we'll proceed with the motion then. Go ahead, Bill.
Thank you. Madam Chair, my recommendation is that we defer this until next month, until we get the proper drawings and elevations.
Do we have a seconder?
Madam Chair, just before we go to a second motion, if I could just ask the homeowners, there was a valid point there. Was there any reason you're not doing it as an addition to the house versus a standalone unit?
Yes, because we wanted to build an ADU so she could have independency. Otherwise, she would be living with us in the house, right? And she wouldn't be her own space. That's.
The door can separate that, but thank you. That was my question to you.
Yeah.
Sorry. So you were going for a motion.
I made the motion. I need a seconder.
Seconder? Yep, go ahead. Oh,
John?
whoever wants to do it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
John
John, go
seconded.
ahead. Oh, yep, sorry. All in favor? All right, being deferred. Okay, so you can reach out to Maj with regards to the next steps for the deferral. No problem. Okay, we'll move on to the last application on the agenda, application A042-2024 for 2858 25th Side Road. May I please ask the applicant to approach the podium? Do we have Scott Dallimore here?
Good evening, Madam Chair.
Hi, welcome to the Committee of Adjustments. Mr. Secretary, can you please read out the details of the application, any comments associated with it?
Through you, Madam Chair, the applicant is proposing to construct a storage structure. The applicant is seeking relief from Section 3.27A of the zoning bylaw for the expansion of a legally existing non-conforming use. Planning recommends approval with conditions. The Lake Simcoe Region Conservation Authority have comments and conditions. Building, in-services, and engineering have no comments.
Thank you. Scott, is there anything that you wish to add with regards to your application?
No, not at this time. I'm aware of all the conditions.
Okay, thank you. Do we have any questions from the committee members? Go ahead.
Waiting for this opportunity. So this is an evening of forgiveness because the structure already up, am I correct?
This is correct, sir.
Sorry you missed that. That was last night.
Oh, that was last night's meeting.
So can you just tell us the story? You put it up, the town wasn't involved, so they said, stop work, let's see your plans. Is that how it all happened?
Correct.
Okay. Thank you.
I guess I can understand why you did that. I can see that you need that room. I really do. I mean, I went and had a look out there. I guess that'll be part of your mechanic shop or whatever, where you service boats.
Correct.
Yeah, you know, I thought so by the height of the building, and it's actually higher than what
I
you've
should have
got.
built it a couple feet
Yeah,
lower.
yeah, you know, well, it's, I guess you need that these days for those boats. And but it looked like there was something there before, Scott. Like, was there something?
The existing structure that was there was Dad's original building.
Yeah, yeah.
That
So
was actually moved from, I don't know where, that because it was on stilts, so that it was actually slowly
Yeah.
rotting into the ground.
So basically what you're doing is making a proper building.
Yes.
Yeah.
Any further questions from committee members? No? Okay. Mr. Moderator, are there any members from the public here? Nope. Okay. We will proceed then with the motion. Marnie.
Sorry, through the chair, I'll make a motion in regards to application 042-2024 in regards to 2858 25th Side Road as applied for, subject to all the conditions.
Do we have a seconder?
I'll second.
Rod, all in favor? Okay, your application has been approved with the list of conditions.
Thank you all.
You too. Okay, Mr. Secretary, is there any other business or correspondence for the committee? None? All right, we'll have a motion to adjourn at 7:40 PM on October 17th. Rod, seconder?